19 months since the coronavirus national lockdown, with new variants rising in a great strain on the country's economy, the health of South Africans remains top of mind. But then again, COVID-19 is not only our battle. South Africa has high levels of diet and lifestyle-related challenges, as well as concerns of under and over-nutrition. In commemoration of National Nutrition Week, under the theme "Eat More Vegetables and Fruit Every Day," we talk to Anna-Marie de Beer, who is a nutritionist at Nestlé South Africa. Anna-Marie, good evening to you, and thank you so much for your time this evening. You talk about eating more vegetables and more fruit. It sounds like we're speaking to our children, our toddlers, who do not want to eat their vegetables. But one of the things that we, often see is that sometimes we're told not to eat fruit because there's so much sugar. How do we strike a balance?
Well, thank you very much for having me, and also to the viewers, good evening. There's a couple of things around this. What we need to understand is that within Nutrition Week, and it's all about eating more fruits and vegetables, that the sugar that we get from fruit is very different from the sugar that we get from sweet or even sweetened beverages, cold drinks and things like that. So we actually call the sugar in fruit fructose, which is a very important sugar because it actually gives us energy, and we mustn't be scared of the word sugar. Unfortunately, we often become very scared about it or over it. But very importantly, that sugar is a very important part, or plays a very important part in our diet. If you think about it, the brain functions on glucose, and it gets glucose from sugar. So very important, but we want the good sugars to be part of the diet, and that's in fruit.
So let's talk then about the significance of a week like this, Nutrition Week, and why is it important?
So I think very often, we think about nutrition not in that focused way. And Nutrition Week gives us that opportunity to speak to the population at large, to really give the message. And I think the nice thing about Nutrition Week is that it's a consistent message that comes from everybody in the field of nutrition. This year, of course, is now about eating more fruits and vegetables, but it really gives us all the same platform, or it gives us a platform to give the same message to consumers out there. We've got just over 57 million people in South Africa, and we're not a group of people that eat a lot of fruits and vegetables.
So, in simple terms, if someone is wondering tonight and they're watching, what is nutrition? And what is the role of nutrition, especially now in the times of COVID-19?
So nutrition is actually a very young science, if you think about it, but it's a very simple thing. The food that we eat gets broken down in the body, and in those small parts that it's getting broken down into, the cells absorb those nutrients, and those nutrients makes us live. It makes us grow. It helps us to function. It even helps us to see at the night. So all of what we eat actually gets broken down into smaller pieces, and those smaller pieces or these nutrients is what we really need for life. So with COVID-19, I think some interesting things happened. Firstly, it highlighted the importance of food and immunity, and we actually saw through the data that came out after, actually in the midst of COVID, that more and more people were looking for foods that will support the immune system. So I think all of us are much more aware of our bodies, of the fact that we need to have a strong immune system, and really one of the best ways of building a healthy immune system is through the food that we eat. So that was the one side of COVID. Of course, the other side of COVID highlighted two significant problems in our country. The one is food insecurity, where people actually just don't have enough food. And for them to be away from work, not actually having incomes, really affected the food security in our country quite substantially. On the other hand, we have this problem of overnutrition, and with a lot of people living at home and then also working at home, and I have a friend who said the other day we are now sleeping at work, actually caused us to eat more. And there was a recent news article actually that came out that most South Africans working from home actually gained more than 4 kilograms within the first year of COVID. So COVID actually then highlighted these three problems for us. And of course, the immunity bit really remains very important.
Let's talk about, junk food, because you speak about eating a lot during this time and, gravitating towards comfort food at this time is one of those things that makes it easier to bear, though, Anna Marie.
Yes. It's true. And I think we must understand that we don't only eat for the nutrition that we get from the food. We also eat because it makes us happy. We eat when we're sad. We eat really with so many occasions. I think South Africa and food is really just one. So unfortunately, yes, we do need the comfort food, and there's nothing wrong with the comfort food. I think the problem is that we're not doing it in moderation. So unfortunately, when the portion sizes are too big, or we're eating too much of that and we actually leave the healthy food behind, then things actually go quite wrong. So I really want to just encourage the viewers as well that, having a healthy diet doesn't mean that I'm only having fruits and vegetables. It means that I can have the treat from time to time, and it's okay to have that and not to feel guilty about it. But we always have to make sure that we have a healthy balance of the good and the not so good foods.
So this means then if I want to lose, the belly fat I'm watching tonight, I cannot continue to indulge in all the junk food. It has to be food that is balanced. It has to be vegetables. There has to be lots of water as well.
Correct, absolutely. And I think this is the one area where we're also perhaps missing it in terms of the amount of water that we're drinking. I think we all need at least about 2 liters of water a day, not milk, water a day. And if we're not having that, we must also understand that that's going to have an impact. Water plays a key role within our health. And we shouldn't substitute that with other drinks. So there's 2 liters of water that we need every day is over and above the coffee and the tea that we also have and can have, and there's nothing wrong in having those.
I wanted to ask, pardon me, continue, Anna-Marie.
I was just going to say, in terms of the belly fat, I think one of the things that we have to also keep in mind is that we still need to exercise. Unfortunately, a lot of us have been sitting at home. We couldn't go to the gyms. We didn't exercise. And exercise is as important as what food is to our health.
I tell you, my abs are suffering tonight as you talk about the gym. But let's round up our conversation as we look at one of the things that is lately that we see is either people talk about intermittent fasting, people are talking about, going carb-free, people are talking about all kinds of diets, really, but nothing about eating right. How effective are these diets when it comes to nutrition?
Bongi, I think there's a very simple answer to this. Any diet that says that you need to eliminate a certain food group from your diet is not a good diet. So whether you are doing all these, there's a lot of fad diets, but any diet that says that you cannot have carbohydrates, by example, is not a good diet. A diet that says that you should not have any fruit is not a good diet. Intermittent fasting has got some interesting results with that. My recommendation for the viewers would be to go and see a registered dietitian if you want to do intermittent fasting. Because if you're a diabetic, of course, there's certain implications if you don't eat regularly. So I really want to encourage people who are worried about their weight. This is the time to really go and see a registered dietitian. They are trained to actually help you and really personalize the food and the diet along your lifestyle and everything that you're doing. And perhaps just the last thing to mention here, I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is our kids are also suffering with us in terms of diets and everything else that we're doing. So the example that we're setting for our children is very important. And if you as a parent don't eat a lot of veggies or fruit, you can't expect the children to do that. So I really want to encourage the parents tonight to think about this example that they're setting. Make sure your kids are having breakfast. I think that's a very important point that we often forget. And then, of course, also start planning for the meals and the lunch boxes. There's quite a few things that we can do for the kids and with the kids.
You just got me thinking. So it's time to plan. Plan. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We do appreciate those tips. Anna Marie, that was a nutritionist at Nestlé South Africa, Anna Marie de Beer.